Hello my friends, welcome back to our blind Let's Play Ever 17, the Out of Infinity for the PC. My name is FlightlessBird, this is your Storybeats Gaming channel, and today we are going to be continuing route number 4, which is Sara's route, and try to make a little more progress towards the endgame here. As time passed, we all split up and roamed around freely, doing what we wanted to do. Some wandered the complex, some tried to open up communications with the outside, and some tried to think of ways to escape. But no one gave up, and everyone was working on ways to get out of our difficult situation. But it was all in vain. We made no breakthroughs. The evening of the 5th rolled around. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, fantastic day today. I wandered aimlessly around Lemieux by myself. Honestly, I have been able to forget what Sara had said to me the day before, or more accurately, that morning. I couldn't seem to clear my mind. At breakfast, Sara was her same old self. I thought that a little walk might make for a change in mood. The next thing that I knew, I was heading for the Cosmic Whale. I rode down to the third floor that was flooded with water. There was no guarantee that Sara would be there. I looked around thinking. It was then that it happened. I saw her again. Hey! I saw a small figure cutting across the corridor. I feel like I've seen that before. And we have seen that before. Okay. Let's see. So she headed into Cosmic Whale room and I followed in soon after her. I didn't see her anywhere. Instead, I saw Sara sitting in the same place we had sat earlier on the whale. Sara was singing softly. Her voice echoed quietly, as if it were seeping into the night sky. Somehow, it sounded faintly sad and lonely. I couldn't make myself call out to Sara. My eyes opened to the jarring sound of metal screaming under the strain. I didn't know if it was because of my broken arm or the swimming with Sara, but I felt sluggish and feverish, so I took some medicine and went to bed. Vibrations shook through Lemieux. I wonder if something happened. By the time I had gotten out of the infirmary, the shaking had stopped. I thought that if I went to the security office, I might learn what happened. Sugumi? What happened? I don't know. I just got here myself. Sugumi said it coolly. Then Sora appeared in the room. Komachi-san, Kid-san, so you two are here. Sora, did something happen? Yes, water breached the Cosmic Whale room. No, we were just... Is Sara okay? Water breached it. Yes, the room's wall collapsed under the water pressure and started flooding. Are we alright? The doors to the Cosmic Whale have been sealed, so there will be no effect on other areas. What about everyone else? Tanaka-san and Kurenari-san are in the control room. You and Takeshi, what about Sara? Matsunaga-san, her last confirmed location is in the corridor near the Cosmic Whale. Well, we need to go confirm that she's not in the Cosmic Whale. corridor. You see Sugumi just turn and flick. I love little animations like that. They need to do more like that.
実はあの部屋のセンサーには不具合があって確認が取れていないんです。
Sensors in that area are not functioning at full capacity, so I have not been able to verify this.
今では完全に接触は断たれています。
Presently, it is completely cut off. Where is Sarah?
今のところレミオのその他の区画では確認されていません。
I am unable to confirm her location anywhere in Lemieux. No way! Then she was in that room. I could stand staying in that room, so I ran outside. Sugumi followed on my heels. Sugumi and I went down to the area housing the Cosmic Whale Room. Sora, can you open the doors to the room?
それは無理です。
That is impossible. But
申し訳ありません。今扉を開けたらこの区画は完全に浸水してしまいます。
I am sorry. If I open these doors, the sector will flood as well.
発電室が浸水したら電力が完全にダウンしてしまいます。それはできません。
If the generator room floods, then we will be powerless. I cannot do that. What about Sarah? Sarah!
落ち着いて。
Calm down. Sugumi.
ソラ、この辺りの避難通路はまだ生きてるんでしょ？そこからあの部屋まで行けない？
Sora, are the emergency corridors around here still functioning? Is there any way to get to the room through them?
調べてみます。はい、コスミッシャーバルのすぐ上の通路はまだ生きています。
I will check. Yes, there is a corridor directly above the Cosmic Whale. Well, we need to go there.
ですが、そこからコスミッシャーバルまで行くことはできません。完全に水没しています。
However, it is not possible to reach the Cosmic Whale from there. That area is completely flooded. Good news, Sora. We need some good news here.
潜っていけばいけないことはないでしょう。
But we could enter it by diving, right?
ですが、
Yes, but I'll go. We've got to save Sarah.
その腕でどうしようっていうの？
With that broken arm, what are you going to do? But
あなたも溺れて助けに行かなきゃならなくなるのがオチよ。
you'll start drowning, and in the end, I'll have to go save you too. All the dots.
私が行くわ。
I'll go. But Sugumi,
怪我人は黙って引っ込んでて。
you're injured, so keep quiet.
ソラ、そこに行くのに一番近い通路の入り口は？
Sora, where's the nearest entrance to a corridor that'll get me there?
ここを出て右に行った先の接続部に階段があります。
Use the connecting staircase out of here and to the left. Sugumi started running before Sora was done speaking. I chased after Sugumi. Sugumi, why?
仕方ないでしょ。
There's no other choice.
仲間なんだか。
We're in this together. Sugumi. Sugumi sprinted to the emergency stairs and climbed to the emergency corridor. I followed right behind her. When I got to the corridor, Sugumi was running for the Cosmic Whale Room. I hurriedly ran after her. Sugumi had turned the corner, already opened the hatch to the room, and was peering in. Sugumi, wait. Sugumi glanced at me.
ここで待っていて。
Wait here. Saying that, Sugumi leaped through the hatch. Sugumi! Sora, is Sugumi okay?
わかりません。今は小町さんを信じて待つしかありません。
I don't know. Now we can only trust her and wait. Only Sora's voice echoed around me. She was speaking through a different set of emergency speakers, and her voice crackled and mixed with static.
田中さんと倉成さんは救護室で待機すると言っています。
Tanaka-san and Kiranari-san said that they will wait for you in the infirmary. Okay. I looked into the emergency hatch again. Inside, the hatch was brimming with cold water. Frustrated and feeling powerless because I could only wait, I tried to be patient. Sugumi, please. Please find Sarah. Sarah. Time passed. It might not have really been that long, but at that time, it felt like an eternity to me. She's alive! Sugumi! Ah, Sugumi, you're a beast! But is she alive? She looks very... Oh, Sarah! Sugumi came bursting out of the water. She was carrying Sarah on her back. Sarah!
とにかく水からあげましょう。
Let's get her out of the water. Okay. I've got the pain in my arm and yanked Sara up. Sara was like ice, cold and hard. In her firmly clenched fist was the pendant. Sugumi put her hand on the back of her neck.
脈がないわ。
There's no pulse. No, Sara! It can't be. Sara, wake up, Sara! I shook Sarah's cold body. You know, CPR would be a better thing to do right now. Sugumi tried to calm me down and spoke.
とにかく救護室へ運びましょう。
Anyway, let's get her to the infirmary. We carried her to the infirmary and laid her on an examination table. Oh God, Sara! Sugumi immediately started giving her a heart massage. Takeshi and Yu were fiddling with the machines around the examination table, trying to learn more about Sara's status. Takeshi got out the defibrillator. A beep signaled that it was charged, and Takeshi placed 2 pads on Sara's chest. Whack! Sara's body jumped. Sugumi put her hand on Sara's neck and shook her head. She went back to massaging her heart.
もう一度だ。
Dang it, one more time. The beep echoed again, and then the electric pulse again. Sara's face was drained of color and her lips were blue. Her body was stiff and unresponsive. All I could do was watch the 3 of them briskly work to save her. There was nothing in the drawers of memory accessible to me that told me how to act in that situation. Images of time I had spent with Sara up until then flashed through my mind, and the voices in the room barely reached me. Finally, Sugumi relaxed her hands. With a look of grief, she moved away from Sara. No! Takeshi also put the defibrillator back on the table. No!
くそ、なんてことだ。
Dang it, why? What happened? Hey, why are you all stopping? Hey, why do you all have those looks on your faces?
少年。
Kid, it can't be. Sara! Sara, wake up! Wake up, Sara! I started trying to cop Sugumi's heart massage. The 3 of them watched with sad looks on their faces. Why? Why do you all want to give up? Sara isn't going to die. She can't die here. I continued to pump her chest frantically. Sara, open your eyes. Open your eyes.
少年。
Kid. You put a hand on my shoulder, but I shook her hand off and continued pushing on Sara's chest. Don't die. Open your eyes. Sara! I heard a voice. No, I didn't run away. I wanted to help you. Put more power into the hand I was using to push on her chest. Her ribs bent under the strain. Still, I kept pumping. I told you, Sara. Sara, I told you I would come to help you. I told you I'd come to help you, didn't I? Prayed for Sara's heart to start beating. Sara! You said you'd wait like a good girl. You said you'd wait, didn't you? I pushed a little harder. A little water came out of Sara's mouth. Oh my gosh, it's alive! Oh. Oh, I was about to lose it. I really was. She started breathing faintly, and more water came out of her mouth. Sara! I shook Sara desperately. Ugh. Oh. Sara's eyes opened slightly. Oh, Sara. That instant, the tension in the atmosphere of the infirmary eased.
私。
Oh, Oh, thank goodness, Sara. I heard a song coming from somewhere. It was a soft but somehow lonely voice singing.
長湯店を石 月のせい夢の中より待ち降りぬ今宵柳つくよみ林早く今かと待ち降りぬ眠りたもぬく止まる見て眠りたも母に抱かれて真赤いかかげし水のせい夢の中より待ち降りぬ今宵鳥船渦巻き鬼早く今かと待ち降りぬ眠りたもゆるゆるゆられ眠りたも海に抱かれて
May 6th, Saturday. Oh, man. I am. I I feel really emotional after witnessing everything that just happened the last few moments. Let me take a like 5-minute break. I need to go like get focused again. I'm sorry. For you guys, it'll just be a second. Just yeah, I'll be back in a moment. I am back and whew, I am whew, I'm ready to go. Hopefully you guys are too. That scene was just, I don't know what it was, but that got to me for some reason. Yeah, it's don't let anyone tell you that video games aren't art or they don't mean anything, because they mean a lot. I mean, just remembering back to the Zero Escape playthrough, and I lost it a few times during that playthrough as well. But anyway, I woke with a nostalgic feeling. Yeah, that's talking about Zero Escape. Yeah, that is kind of a nostalgic feeling. And my game's like, okay, well, you took a break. I need to take a break too now, apparently. Okay, there we go. I found myself on a narrow bed in the infirmary. Looking up at the white ceiling, I gently nodded off. My memory slowly came back to me. Floating at the cosmic whale and saving Sarah. Sarah coming back to life. My fever worsening and then me collapsing. I looked over at the bed next to mine. Sarah. Sarah was asleep on the bed next to me. Her breathing was regular and her cheeks flushed a healthy pink. Feeling a bit relieved, I let myself half doze. From far away, I could hear faint voices. They seemed to come from an incredible distance and were all jumbled together, but they sounded like Sugumi and Takeshi. The voices echoed slightly. The words were too faint for me to make out what they were saying. They were talking about Hamel or Harmelin something. Words that I thought I had heard before, but the sounds quickly became meaningless, garbled in my mind. After a while, the voices stopped. Out of habit, I touched my pinky to the thumb of my left hand. I felt a bit strange. I lifted my left hand and stared at the thumb. Something was strange, out of place. The blurriness of my vision suddenly came into focus. The scar was gone. Why? How could it be gone? I hurriedly sat up. I stared at my left hand again. The scar was nowhere to be found. I was sure there had been a scar there. I remember noticing it when I had opened the elevator to rescue Sara. Had it just been a figment of my imagination? No, I was sure it had been. I was positive there had been a scar. But why had the scars suddenly vanished? A sense of loss flooded through me, making me feel like I had a gaping hole in my heart. I sensed I had lost something critically important, but I was unsure of what. That was how I felt. Sora. I pause here. Because they were never talking about Himmel in the previous route. And now they are. And now a scar is gone. Could it be that somehow Sara and I transported to the other dimension? To Takeshi's dimension? As I guess we'll call it. Forgetting that Sara was sleeping, I shouted out for Sora.
Hi, Shounen-san. Nanika?
Yes, Kid-san, what is it? Sora's voice answered me. Sora, did you do something to me?
何かとは
Something? What do you mean? Don't pretend you don't know. There was a scar on my left hand. But it's gone now.
ああ、そのことですか。
Oh, so that is what you mean. Sora appeared in the entrance to the room. What are you talking about?
眠っている間に摘出しておきました。
While you were sleeping, I extracted it. Okay, so maybe it's not as paranoid as we're making it out to be. Extracted what?
こちらにいらしてください。
Perhaps you should come over here. I approached the examination table as Sora suggested.
これです。
This. Sora pointed to a small shard suspended by a manipulator arm above the examination table.
これが埋まっていたので摘出させていただきました。
This was embedded in your thumb, so I extracted it. What? Give you the right to do that? It could have been a clue leading to my past. I let loose on Sora without thinking. Wait. A small shard. Could that shard be the missing piece to Sara's hologram?
はい。ご指摘の点はごもっともです。
Yes, you are exactly right.
しかし、体の中に異物を入れておいても何も良いことはありませんよ。
However, no good can come of leaving a foreign object in your body to fester.
それより少年さん、
More importantly,
このかけらに見覚えはありませんか？
Kid, do you recall seeing this fragment before? No, how could I? It didn't make sense to me why Sora would ask such a thing.
このかけらにはある画像が記録されていました。
This fragment has an image recorded on it. Sora continued speaking calmly. An image?
ご覧になりますか？
Would you like to see it? I pinched the shard that had been buried in my thumb between my fingers. This? It had the same holographic image as in Sara's pendant. Yeah! There was an image of a man floating there.
見えるのですか？
Can you see it? Yeah, I can see it.
実はこのホログラム、ある特定の波長の光線を照射しなければ見えない仕組みになっているのです。
This hologram was designed so that it could only be seen when viewed with light of a certain wavelength.
今はレミのシステムを使ってそのかけらに光線を当てています。
Right now, I'm using the me to shine the proper light on it.
このホログラム、製造年代は特定できませんでしたが、とても古いバージョンのものであることは確かです。
I could not confirm the date of manufacture of this hologram, but it is undoubtedly very old.
今、レミューの売店で売っているような商品とは基本的に原理が異なります。
Its makeup is fundamentally different from the ones being sold at the Muse kiosk.
かつてのホログラムは物体光と参照光、この2つの光によってできた干渉島を記録したものでした。
In the past, holograms were recorded using an interference pattern made from an object beam and a reference beam.
簡単に言うと、物体光は被写体に反射した光のこと。
Put simply, the object beam is the light reflected off of the object.
参照光は物体光を干渉させる光のことです。よろしいですか？
The reference beam is the light that interferes with the object beam. Do you understand? Sora continued on without giving me time to think.
そしてここからが大事なところなのですが、
And now comes the important part.
こうしてできたホログラムを再生するには、
In order to make this hologram appear,
記録した時の参照光と同じ波長の光をホログラムに当てなければならないのです。
light which is the same wavelength as the reference beam used to record the image must be shined upon it.
つまりまとめるとこういうことになります。
So, to sum it up, it is like this.
このホログラムのかけらの画像はある特定の波長の光を使って撮影されたものであり、
The image on this fragmented hologram was recorded using light that was a certain wavelength.
この画像を見るためにはそれと同じ波長の光を当てなければならないということです。
And in order to see the image, you must shine light at the same wavelength on it.
蛍光灯の光では見えません。
It also cannot be seen under fluorescent light.
例えば日光やあるいはライターの炎のように高温で発熱する光源が必要なのです。
You must use light generated by a heat-emitting light source, such as a sunlight or the flame of a lighter.
そして
And Sora continued her explanation. She said the spatial wavelength of a light was infrared in around 850 nanometers, and that ordinary people couldn't see infrared light. She went on to say that if a person was able to see infrared, they would even be able to see in the dark, but that they could only see objects that emitted heat. Put another way, objects that gave off heat also emitted infrared rays. And if you could see infrared rays, then you could tell the temperature of something without having to touch it.
この映像はその赤外線を見ることができなければ見えません。
You would not be able to see this image unless you could see infrared light.
この映像が見えるということは少年さんは赤外線が見えるということです。
The fact that you can see this image means you can see infrared light, kid-san. But what about Sarah? Does that mean that Sarah can too?
はい。お二人は赤外線が見える特殊な視力の持ち主ということになります。
Yes, both of you have a very unique ability to see infrared light. How? Thinking back on it, that probably explains why Takeshi and you couldn't see the image in the pennant. Yes, it does, but how do we have that ability? But why was this hologram in my finger? That's another great question. I trembled as I said that. It's the same image as in Sarah's pendant. Are you saying that the missing piece of that pendant has been in my thumb?
それ以外に考えられません。
That is the only conceivable explanation.
鏡面の断面とかけらの形も一致しています。
The surface and shape of the fragment match the pendant perfectly. But why?
それは少年さん、
That kid-san
あなたと松永さんが兄弟だからです。
is because you and Matsunaga-san are siblings. We're family. I mean, we've been theorizing a lot of things, and siblings or, you know, family has possibly come up, but it was Coco that called us Oni-chan, right? I'm. It's like every single time the game gives me an answer, it just opens up like 5 more questions. All right, well, we got an answer here. Let's be happy about that. We have an answer here, finally. So the link between us and Sarah is because we're brother and sister. Okay, that's good to know. Not super surprising, I don't think. But it does confirm at least one of our many theories. What? It can't be.
二人が赤外線視力を持っているのもそのためです。
It is the same reason that you both had the ability to see infrared light.
おそらく遺伝によって受け継がれたものなのでしょう。
It is probably because you both carry the same genes. No. No.
少年さん、どうしてお喜びにならないのですか？
Kid-san, why wouldn't that make you happy?
あなたの肉親が見つかったのですよ。
You have found a blood relative.
記憶を取り戻すためのこれ以上の手がかりがあるでしょうか？
Is there any better way possible to recover your memory? No. I held my head and crouched down.
いずれにせよ、 これは事実です。受け入れてください。
In either case, it is a fact and you should accept it.
お二人が寝ている間に DNA 鑑定をさせていただきました。
While you two were asleep, I performed a DNA analysis on both of you.
データはディスプレイに表示してあります。
The results are indicated on the display.
お二人が兄弟である確率はほぼ 100% です。
The probability that you are brother and sister is nearly 100%. No, 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 no. Suddenly, the wall to my memory that I had tried so hard to destroy but had been unable to breach crumbled. Like a dream that was holding back the overflow of my memory, it burst, unleashing a torrent of images that flooded into my mind. Ugh! Memories of my life, in no apparent order, flashed across my mind like random slides appearing on a screen. From one to the next, they floated up and vanished. My mind couldn't handle the flood of memories. And then came the darkness. I heard a lullaby coming from somewhere.
まかいかかげし水のせい夢の中より待ち降りぬ今宵鳥船渦巻き鬼早く今夏と待ち降りぬ眠りたもゆるゆるゆられ眠りたも海に抱かれて
I groggily opened my eyes. I was lying on a hard bed. But Coco knew that song before too, right? So we all know that song. So are we all siblings? Or is Sarah and Coco the same person? Or is Sarah... Ow! I heard a voice crying from outside. There was a girl surrounded by a group of bullies in an open space. I hate bullies. Aww. Is that Coco or is that Sarah? It was Sarah. The kids were being cruel, jeering at her and making fun of her in only the way that kids could. I ran up to Sarah. The bullies scattered like baby spiders in the wind. Sarah said that a precious pendant had been broken. Sarah clutched the pendant firmly in her hand. I bent over to pick up the fragment from it. I felt a sudden shock from behind. I was plunged forward. With a sharp pain, the shard was buried in my thumb. Man, what horrifying. Don't bully people, my friends. Be kind to one another. Yeah, the kids that always bullied Sarah had encircled us. The laughter and howls of our tormentors echoed around us. You bullies! How could you do this to Sarah? Forgetting myself, I lunged at the mob of kids. They beat me mercilessly. And as I lay on the ground in that open space, I faced skyward. Satisfied with what they had done to me, the bullies had left. Sarah came and held out her hands to me. You're so brave, Oni-chan. She smiled as she said it. Even though I lost. Blood continued to drip from my finger. Not wanting to worry Sarah, I pretended that everything was fine and dismissed it as nothing. I didn't say anything to our teacher. I didn't go to the doctor, I just silently endured the pain. It seemed to me that to tell someone of it would that mean I had lost. In time, the wound closed up. One day, a nice lady in a suit came. She told us it would be a place we could go where things would be better. Saying that, the lady held out her hand. We could see things that other people couldn't. At first, we thought our abilities were normal, but everyone had shunned us. The lady said she wanted to study us. I decided to go along with the idea. Our caretakers at the orphanage we lived in were happy to see us leave because they thought we were troublemakers. We fell right into their trap. They locked us in a small hospital room. Day in and day out, we were marched from that room to the research institute. At night, moonlight would stream in from the lone window. The only things I remembered were the Lieblich logos on the doors we passed every day, and the white frocks of the research employees, and every night the voice of Sarah crying in the room next to me. One day there was something in the air that was different from other days. We were taken from our rooms and led to a research office in a different area. People who I'd never seen before took me away. Sarah, alone, was left there. I could hear Sarah's screams. I shook off the adult hands and ran to where Sarah was. The researchers tried to block my path. Sarah. Sarah, wait for me. I'll come back for you. I promise I will find you. Be a good girl and wait for me. I'll be good and wait for you. But come for sure. You come to get me for sure, okay? I'll wait forever. I had promised. That was how things are. Back then I had promised. to go get her, but I hadn't gone. I couldn't go. I was moved to another facility and taken to a new home after a while. My foster parents were good people. They were good to me if I didn't get out of line. But they had sold their souls to and were controlled by Lieblich. I passed my time under their forgiving but ever-present eyes, unable to search for Sarah. Still, there were times when I did my best to find leads to her. But I didn't even know where the research facility was, and something would always get in my way, and after a while I couldn't search anymore. I just hadn't been able to help Sarah with my limited powers. But no matter what excuses I came up with, the result was the same. I had abandoned Sarah. In the isolated clinic room into which the cold moonlight shined, I couldn't keep my promise. Even then, Sarah was on the other side of the door. I knew that she was still waiting for me in that miserable little room, still believing in me, just as I had promised. The sense of guilt I felt overpowered me. It left me with an agonizing sense of hopelessness and utter despair. There was nothing I could do. I didn't have any other choice. What else could I have done? When I opened my eyes, I was lying on a bed in the infirmary. I didn't know if someone had brought me there or I had dragged myself unconsciously. I looked at my watch without thinking. Not much time had elapsed since I had passed out. Lying on the bed, I looked up at the ceiling and thought about the events leading up to that point. The reason I had known that it was too hot inside the generator room was my infrared vision. And the moonlight coming from the inverter unit had been the same thing. And in the darkness, I had mistaken the heat from the inverter as moonlight. And the shock that I felt when I met Sarah made sense too. We were siblings after all. I had probably known it in the back of my mind even without my memory, but she didn't recognize you, did she? That was why the first time I had seen Sarah. And why had she grasped my thumb in the darkness? Why had she sung the lullaby that time? Really? You don't know it? Oh, I see. That's right. It seemed to me that Sarah had probably noticed that we were brother and sister. So, I raised myself up. Sarah was still asleep in the bed next to me. I stood next to Sarah's pillow and stared down at her face. My memory was still a little jumbled, but there was no mistaking that face. It was Sarah. Little Sarah had grown to be 16. It had to be her. I was sure it was Sarah. The sister that I had made a promise to find, but then broken it. I felt so guilty and ashamed I couldn't look at Sarah's face. It was hard just being there. I didn't know what to say to Sarah. What excuses could I make to her? No matter what I said to her, it would all ring hollow. I wanted to get out of there before Sarah woke up. I walked toward the door.
お兄ちゃん
With her voice, my legs stopped. I didn't have the courage to turn around.
ねえお兄ちゃんなんだよね
You are my Oni-chan, right? Sarah continued talking. Each of her words was like a stab in the heart.
お兄ちゃん
No. I spit out the words without thinking.
え
Huh? You're wrong about me.
そんなはずない
But that can't be.
お兄ちゃんでしょ
You are my brother, right? No. I sensed that Sarah was about to get up from the bed, so I tried to leave.
待って
Wait!
待ってお兄ちゃん
Oni-chan, wait! Her voice sounded just like she was when she cried out to me when she was a child, and I froze, unable to move.
お兄ちゃんでしょねえそうだよね
You're my Oni-chan. You are, aren't you? All the dots. Sarah grabbed my shoulders.
ねえなんで黙ってるのこっちを向いてよ
Hey, why don't you say something? Look at me. Sarah circled around in front of me, all the time holding my shoulders. But I couldn't bear to look Sarah in the face and turned away.
ねえお兄ちゃんなんでこっちを見てくれないの
Hey, why won't you look at me?
ねえ私を見てよ
Hey, look at me.
ねえったら
I said look at me. No. I shook off Sarah's hands. Sarah. Sarah threw her arms around me, hugging me tightly. Sarah's eyes stared directly at me.
どうして否定するの
Why are you denying me?
お兄ちゃんでしょお兄ちゃんなんでしょ
You're my Oni-chan, right? You are, aren't you? No, I'm...
どうして違わないよ
Why not? I know you are.
お兄ちゃんだよ
Oni-chan, you're my Oni-chan.
待ってたんだよずっと待ってたんだよ
I waited for you. I waited and waited.
お兄ちゃんのことずっと待ってたんだよ
I waited forever for you to come.
お兄ちゃん
Sarah fell to the ground and I said nothing to her. Oh, come on! Come on, kid! I just ran out of the room. No! Don't do that. I was right. I ran away. No! Don't run away! I ran from Sarah and from my past. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't. You did the best you could. Fate has given you a second chance. Don't squander it. Oh, God. This episode is just... I squatted in the small room in the back of the warehouse. All I could do was just keep running away from Sarah and my past. I was such a coward. Overcome by the memories that had come rushing back to me, I had run away from my sister. I couldn't even accept my own weakness. I denied myself. It was less scary than acknowledging what I had done. I was such a coward. Had I known that would happen, I would have never wanted my memory back. Things were better when I didn't remember anything. Crouched there in the corner, I was paralyzed. I couldn't face Sarah, my own sister. All I could do was let the time pass by. All the dots. My memory had been completely restored apart from recent events. I knew my age, address, and phone number. I also remembered my foster mother and father. Still, there was just one crucial thing that I couldn't remember. That was my name. What was my name? What was I called? I didn't know. Why was that the only thing that I couldn't remember? As long as I couldn't remember that, I felt incomplete. As if the essence of my existence were concentrated into my name. As long as I couldn't remember my name, I couldn't feel whole. That was how I felt. No matter how much else I remember, that one point escaped me. Maybe you would feel whole if you went and embraced your sister. Then I thought back about what it was that had made me lose my memory. The massive guilt I felt towards Sara. I wondered if that was why I had repressed my memory. But there was too much about that theory that didn't make sense. I had lost my memory before meeting Sara and before the accident at Lemieux. And I couldn't remember what I was doing just before then or why I had come to Lemieux. It might have been that I had seen Sara at Lemieux and then it had happened. But something didn't seem right about that either. I couldn't imagine why only my name and recent events wouldn't come back to me. I had already remembered Sara. It would make sense for me to remember everything. I wondered what kind of amnesia it might have been. That doesn't sound good. A sudden sound and shaking made me look up. The next instant, warning alarms started shrieking. All around me, the squeal of straining metal echoed from the structure. The shaking continued on and off. What? I ran out of the room. Water? I noticed something strange as I emerged in the corridor. Water was flowing in. I couldn't believe that water could have reached me there. Kid! You, what is this? Did something happen? I'll explain later. For now, just hurry over here. What? I found an exit we can escape through. Where? I'll explain later. Just hurry. With those words of encouragement, you started running. She turned the corner, heading for stairs leading to an emergency corridor. What about everybody else? Kiranari is going to get Mayo. Tsugumi is already at the emergency corridor. We dashed toward the stairs to the emergency corridor and climbed up to it. Takeshi, Tsugumi, and Sara were already gathered there. Hurry, we don't have much time. What happened? Just hurry. Saying that, he started running ahead of everyone else. Tsugumi followed suit. Listen, Lemieux is already starting to collapse. You pushed on my back. I started running. We were finally able to make contact with the surface, and now the emergency stairs are accessible. But if we don't hurry, they're going to flood. So just hurry. You explained the situation from behind me. I followed Takeshi and Tsugumi as we sprinted the distance of the emergency stairs. We soon reached the stairs. Takeshi and Tsugumi were already climbing. Hurry, this way. Takeshi's voice rang down from above. I ran, following the sound of the footsteps. As we were trying to escape, Lemieux began to shake and screech as metal clashed with metal. But we kept just climbing, moving toward the top. Only the sound of everyone's labored breathing and running footsteps echoed throughout the emergency stairs. All the dots. Just a little more, we're almost there. Takeshi shouted up ahead. Takeshi's voice was full of hope. It was then that we realized it. Mayo isn't here! You shouted that. Huh? What did you say? I stopped and looked back. You stood on the stairs, stunned and looking downward. What happened? She was right behind me? What happened? Takeshi and the others came down the stairs. Kiranari, Mayo isn't here? Well, gosh darn it. Didn't you check to see that she was behind you? She was behind me from the start. Partway up, I got so into climbing. The stairs shook violently and there was a large sound. At the same time, the lights that dimly lit the stairs went out. Ah, dang it, a blackout. Can't go back now. If we double back, everyone's a goner. But I'll go. Huh? I'll go back. Everybody keep going. Without waiting for a reply, I start rushing down the stairs I had just climbed. Hey, kid!
無理よ。浸水が始まってるのよ。どうやって行くつもり？
It's impossible. It's already starting to flood. What do you think you're going to do? The voices rang out behind me. Swim!
下は真っ暗なのよ。
It's pitch black below. Well, I can see in the dark. No problem. I can see. I could actually see the different parts of the stairs by their different temperatures. It was the first time that I'd ever been thankful for my unusual visions. I went down the stairs and came out at Zwitterstock's emergency corridor. It looked like the emergency power had already died. I wondered where Sara might be. I thought frantically. She had turned back part way, then she probably wouldn't have made it to Dritterstock. But I couldn't be sure. If she had got all the way down to Dritterstock, then I would never make it in time if I looked around Dritterstock first. I didn't know what to do. I had to decide whether I should start looking on Dritterstock or from Switcherstock. Alright, so, my friends. This is where things are going to get a little different. Now, if you're playing at home and you want the good ending here, what you need to do is say start with Zwitterstock. However, because on this channel we try to find all the story we can in a game and all the lore as much as we can do, since this is a story-based gaming channel, we're not going to go the correct path. Instead, we're going to go the incorrect path. And shout out to Enter Zero who kind of helped me figure this out. What we're going to do is we're going to see all the bad ends. And then we're going to come back to this point sometime in the near future and proceed with the good end of Kid/Sara. And then after seeing the good end, we're going to see the final route. And that's how we're going to conclude the game. But it's probably better to do this now than to do the bad ends last. I mean, we don't want to end with the bad ends, right? So what we want to do is we want to start with Dritterstock. And I want to see what effect this has on the point system. So you can see here, Sara has 3, you has 2. So is this going to give a point to you? So start with Dritter. I decided to start searching for Dritterstock. It didn't seem to affect the point any. So we'll have to see how this goes. I figured that the water pressure would be higher there and the flooding more serious. If she was in Dritterstock, then I'd have to start there to have any hope of finding her. I headed down the stairs to Dritterstock. Reaching the emergency corridor, I arrived at Dritterstock. If Sara was there, where would she be? The conference room or the control room? Or she could have been at one of the attractions. I didn't have much time. Peering down through the emergency hatch, I realized that the flooding had already progressed a lot. It seemed best to check each room from the emergency corridor rather than going all the way down. I wondered if Sara really was on that floor. But having come so far, I knew that there was no way going back. I ran through the emergency corridor. I exited on the emergency corridor furthest outside. Opening the emergency hatch to each room, I peeked inside. If Sara was there, I'd be able to see her body heat. I looked in the conference room and the control room, and there was no sign of her there. The water only continued to rise. The doors beyond the elevator hall didn't open. I frantically ran down the emergency corridor, moving from one attraction to the next. I checked the rest area and then looked down into the mooring ruins, but Sara wasn't there. Maybe she wasn't on that floor. The sound of the water and shaking of the structure both continued to intensify. If I didn't hurry, I wouldn't make it back to Zwitterstock. I knew I had to hurry to the emergency stairs. I sprinted to the stairs and up to Zwitterstock. I had lost a lot of time. I had to hurry. Finally, I arrived back at Zwitterstock. Lemieux was shaking terribly, and the area below the emergency hatch had already filled with water. It looked like water was about to flood into the corridor. I plunged into the water. Swimming desperately to the security office, I forgot the pain in my arm and looked inside. Sara wasn't there. I was able to steal a breath using the air at the top of the room. Where could Sara be? I dove into the water again and swam for the infirmary. The infirmary door was open. I looked inside. Sara! Sara's body stood out white in the dark water. That room also had a pocket of air near the ceiling. Sarah was just barely floating there. I floated to the surface. Sarah! I swam next to Sarah.
兄ちゃん
Are you okay, Sarah?
大丈夫だよ
Yeah, I'm alright. She smiled weakly. She was spent and unsteady on her feet.
お兄ちゃんなんで戻ってきたの
Oni-chan, why did you come back? I came back to get you, of course.
迎えに
To get me? Sure, I promised, didn't I?
そっか
Aww.
やっと
Oh,
迎えに来てくれたんだね
look at the face. I see. You finally came to get me. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sarah. I know I made you wait such a long time.
いいんだよもう
No, it's alright.
こうして来てくれたんだもん
I mean, you actually came and everything. Sarah, why did you come back?
これを取りに
To get this. Saying that, Sarah took out the fragment that had been embedded in my finger. That's...
これを忘れてたから
I forgot this. You came back for that?
だってこれはお兄ちゃんが私を守ってくれた大切な証だから
Because this is proof of how you looked after me.
これがなくなってしまったらお兄ちゃんとの絆までなくしてしまいそうな気がしたから
I felt like if this disappeared, then my connection to you would be gone. Oh, Sarah.
ごめんねお兄ちゃんまで巻き込んじゃって
I'm sorry. I got you involved in this mess. I'm sorry for not coming to you when I should have earlier. Sarah, it's okay.
ごめんなさい
I'm so sorry. It's alright. I only came to keep my promise.
お兄ちゃんありがと
Thank you, Oni-chan. I desperately tried to pop up Sarah to keep her from
うご
sinking.
めんねもうダメ浮かんでいられないや
I'm sorry. I can't keep up anymore. Sarah, hold on.
ごめんねごめんねお
I'm
兄ちゃん
sorry. So sorry. Sarah, hang on. Fight,
な
Sarah.
んだかぼーっとしてきちゃった
For some reason, I'm dizzy. Sarah! I remember that the air pressure there was compressed to 4.5 atmospheres because of the water pressure. Sarah had probably gotten oxygen poisoning from breathing the oxygen-heavy air. That compounded with the fatigue from treading in the cold seawater. The combination had probably rapidly robbed Sarah of her strength. Sarah, hang in there!
お兄ちゃん頑張るね
I'll try.
でももう体が動かない
But my body won't move anymore. I didn't know what to do. And I finally found Sarah. Anyway, let's head for the emergency corridor. When I was there, the water hadn't flooded into the emergency corridor. If we could just get there. Listen, Sarah. I grabbed the weakened Sarah and tried to dive underwater. Then it happened. A metallic scream echoed through the mute as a shock racked the structure. At the same time, the flow of the water increased dramatically. The shock shook Sarah loose from my grasp. I frantically struggled to lift her up. It looked like she had swallowed some water. Her breathing was labored. What should I do? What could I do? With a dull groan, the mute tilted, causing the water to ripple. Hang on, Sarah, just hang on. I called to Sarah as I desperately floated in the waves on the
お兄
surface.
ちゃんごめんねごめんね
I'm sorry, so sorry.
もう体が動かないよ
My body, it won't move. No, Sarah, hang on. We finally found each other. Sarah, open your eyes, Sarah.
お兄ちゃん来てくれてありがとう
Thanks for coming back. Thank you. Sarah's body went limp. I swore inside my mind. Why? I wondered if there really was no way that I could save her. I took a big breath and dove underwater holding Sarah. I meant to get us out of Lemieux. If we stayed there, we would have been crushed. The irregular shocks continued, and the sounds of metal on metal echoed harshly. Lemieux was already mostly filled with water. I ducked into a crack running down the wall that was just big enough and slipped outside. There, the sprawling darkness of the ocean surrounded me. My only hope was the light piercing through the water from above. Clutching Sarah, I swam toward it. But swimming with my injured arm and holding a limp Sarah was nearly impossible. The water pressure constricted my chest, forcing out my air. But I kept swimming. My body was screaming for air. My eyes clouded. Flashes of white light darted across my vision. It was no good. I couldn't see. I wasn't sure if we were heading upward or maybe downward. Sarah's right arm felt cold, nearly frozen. I didn't think I'd make it. My arms refused to move, and my legs. I took Sarah and I couldn't take anymore. I swallowed water. My consciousness was slipping. My body had no power. Sarah. I was so sorry, Sarah. I just couldn't seem to save her. Sarah. The darkness enveloped me, stealing away from my consciousness. This entire part was just a gut punch after a gut punch after a gut punch. Oh. Alright, so if we look here at our clear list, we'll see that we got Sarah's Route Bad End, which sucks, by the way. I don't want to see these. Oh. But then again, knowing that the good is going to come will hopefully give me the energy to keep going through this. Alright, so let me tell you what the next part's going to be about. The next part, we're going to dive back into all the other bad routes. And we're going to see everything else there is to see on those routes. And then we're going to circle back to this choice. And we're going to go to Zwitterstock first. And hopefully we can get out alive. Oh. This has been an emotional roller coaster, this part. Oh boy. I love you all so very much. Don't forget that ever, that you are loved and you matter and you mean a lot to me, and I can't say enough. Thank you. Thank you for what you've done for me and for each other. Until next time, my friends, so long and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you would like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more. Also, please do not forget, you matter, you are brilliant, and you are loved. And you should always remember to be true to yourself. Don't let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly feathered flightless bird. Till next time.